Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte Kilpatrick, reporting for Vaccine Nation from the World Vaccine Congress in Washington. I'm delighted that today we're joined by Ahmed Razzak of Acasus. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Not at all. So to kick us off, would you kindly introduce yourself and the role you play within your organization?
Absolutely. I'm Ahmed Razzak from Acasus. I'm the head of partnerships for the organization, which means that I'm in charge of helping start new projects and expand the scale of our impact globally. I've been with the firm for about 10 years now. I'm from Pakistan, where I was originally hired, and I started my work. But I'm now based in our office in Switzerland, where we're headquartered.
Fantastic. So you just mentioned your global impact. Can you tell us a bit about the mission of the organization?
Yeah, I guess the mission is pretty simple. We want to help governments help people. We want to help governments to improve the lives of the citizens they're meant to serve. And among many things, the biggest focus of our work is ensuring access to healthcare. And within that, there's a range of things that we do. But given the nature of this conference, I'm happy to focus on vaccines. And if it's about helping governments help people, when it comes to vaccines, our mission is to make sure that more children and adults are vaccinated with life-saving vaccines, but particularly in challenging and difficult environments. So the focus of our work is developing countries, low and middle income countries, and we're particularly proud of the fact that we can do it in very underserved regions. So while we also have projects in places like Pakistan, Nigeria, Ethiopia, DRC, we also work in some of the more challenging places like Afghanistan, Sudan, Somalia. So that's a little bit about our mission.
Fantastic. So it sounds like obviously a worthy cause and a global cause.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about the populations you're serving? Who are the people who benefit from your work?
Yeah, I guess we like to work in really challenging and difficult environments, but almost exclusively we work at scale. So if I think about Pakistan, it's a population of 200 million people. The vaccination program is meant to ensure that every child under the age of 2 years gets all of the childhood vaccines that they need to. And that means that the beneficiaries eventually end up being all of the children in the country. And if we just talk about Pakistan, that's how the work is set up. So the beneficiaries are very much all children who are supposed to get life-saving vaccines. There are obviously now more and more adult vaccines that are coming out as well. So the eventual beneficiaries are those populations that then seek out those vaccines and get them eventually.
Great. So you are doing some really important work. Are you setting yourself apart from some competitors in this space, or have you identified an unmet need?
I think I'd answer that question in three parts. I think part one is, and this was pretty much the spirit of why Acasus came into being, because about 10 years ago when we started, the unmet need component was that, governments, partners, stakeholders, implementers, they're very good at making strategies and plans, right? We know a lot about what works, but the gap is in its implementation, right? So we started Acasus to say, let's fix that, let's help governments implement. They know how to make plans. We don't want more strategies, we don't want more reports, we want implementation and we want action. So that's how we came into being, and that's essentially what we do. We embed ourselves within ministries and help them to get stuff done. So that's part one of it. I think part two of it is around data. And what kind of sets us apart is that we use data as a means to an end. And what I mean by that is that the focus of our work is not just more data or more data collection. The focus is the use of that data. So can we help governments to access high quality data, but then convert it into easy to use insight that they can learn from, understand, implement, and use to resolve bottlenecks and ensure that performance improves, which I guess is the third part of it all, right? Improving performance, improving outcomes. So we're obsessed with changing lives. We're obsessed with tangible results of the work that we do. So, while we're helping countries and governments implement, while we're helping them do that in a data-driven way, the most important thing is we are making sure that they are focused on performance, on results, on impact. And that's probably what kind of sets us apart, but is kind of what we're trying to do here, the reason for being in the space entirely.
Fantastic, thank you for that. So my final question is about the Congress itself. What are you hoping to achieve in your time here, or when you leave, what will you have done?
That's a really good question, and I'll be honest with you. Over the past 10 years, we've essentially put our head down, rolled up our sleeves, and worked with governments on really being true to our mission and dramatically impacting millions of lives, increasing vaccination rates. What we've not been very good at is telling people about it. And the focus is not necessarily to tell people about what we have done, but to actually be able to make lessons from our work more accessible. So for us, a big part of this conference is kind of being able to share what we are doing with more people, with some of the less obvious players of the game. And so that's why we're here. We're here to make sure that all of the brilliant organizations that are here learn more about how we do things, what we do. We hosted a roundtable discussion, for example, around sort of what will be the biggest what will be the biggest challenge facing vaccines in the next 10 years, and we focused on how demand for vaccines is actually currently and potentially a larger problem than supply of vaccines. So, the real objective here is just to be able to share some of these lessons from the very difficult countries we're working in and make them accessible to others, and make sure that if anyone wants our support, we're there to provide it.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the Congress. Thank you for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us.